What if I told you that the single most recommended piece of advice for adults over 70, just keep walking every day, is no longer enough? And that there is one quiet, almost embarrassingly simple movement that, in every measurable parameter, outperforms your daily walk? Peer-reviewed research on aging muscle shows that adults over 70 lose roughly 15% of their lower body muscle power per decade. Not muscle size. Power. The ability to push off the ground. The ability to catch yourself when you stumble. The ability to rise from a chair without using your hands. And here's what the data shows. Walking, by itself, does not stop that loss. If you walk your 7,000 steps a day and still feel your knees protest when you stand up, if your balance feels less certain than it did 3 years ago, if you've started using the armrest to push yourself out of a chair without thinking about it, that is not laziness. That is not failure. That is a missing piece of the puzzle. Rehabilitation specialists at major centers like the Cleveland Clinic prescribe one specific movement before hip replacements, after knee replacements, and to prevent both. Let me be clear, walking is not wrong. It is wonderful for your heart, your mood, and your metabolism. If you walk daily, please do not stop. But walking is steady-state, low-load movement. Both feet stay mostly underneath you. Your muscles work in a narrow range. Your balance is challenged only when something goes wrong. What walking does not train is the one thing your body is losing fastest after 70, explosive lower body power. The fast-twitch muscle fibers that fire when you stand up, climb a step, or recover from a stumble. These fibers, called type 2 fibers, disappear 2 to 3 times faster than the slow-twitch fibers walking relies on. The result is visible in the research. Adults over 70 who only walk lose a substantial portion of their leg power over 5 years. Their fall rate climbs sharply between 75 and 85, and the most predictive measurement of how long they will live independently is not how far they can walk. It is how easily they can stand up from a chair. Think of walking as topping up your fuel tank every day. Necessary, important. But if the engine itself is showing wear, no amount of fuel will help. You need an engine service. You need a movement that loads, challenges, and rebuilds the system that walking can never reach. There is one movement that does exactly that. It needs no shoes, no park, no equipment, just one chair, and 90 seconds. The exercise is the slow-tempo chair stand. I know, it sounds underwhelming. You sit down, you stand up. That is something you do 20 times a day already. That is exactly what most people thought, until the data arrived. A landmark study published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology in 2014 followed more than 2,000 adults aged 51 to 80 for over 6 years. The researchers measured a closely related ability, the simple act of rising from a seated position. The findings were striking. Adults who could not rise without using their hands had a 5 to 6-fold higher risk of dying during follow-up compared to those who could rise smoothly. A separate body of research on 12-week chair stand training in older adults has shown leg power gains in the range of 20 to 30%, alongside meaningful reductions in fall risk. This is the movement physical therapists use as a benchmark across the field. The American College of Sports Medicine includes resistance and power-based movements like this in its core position, stand for adults over 70. Prehabilitation programs at the Cleveland Clinic and other major centers prescribe sit-to-stand exercises before joint replacement surgery, not despite their simplicity, but because of it. But here is the part almost nobody tells you. Standing up is not the part that builds the muscle. Sitting down is. The way you sit down, and how slowly, The chair stand works on 4 levels at once. Walking reaches one of them, maybe 2 on a hill. This movement reaches all 4. Level 1, muscular. The slow lowering phase activates type 2 fibers in your quadriceps, glutes, and hamstrings. These are the fibers your body sheds first after 70. Imagine them as the springs in your suspension system. Walking does not load them hard enough. The chair stand does, every single repetition. Level 2, neurological. Your brain has to coordinate hip, knee, and ankle in a single chain while keeping your trunk upright. It is like retraining a muscle memory that has gone unchallenged for 50 years. Within 2 weeks of daily practice, motor patterns sharpen and balance follows. Level 3, hormonal. The eccentric load, the controlled descent, triggers a release of growth factors and a small testosterone response, even in women in their 70s. This is your body's natural repair signal. Walking does not produce it at the same intensity. Slow chair stands do. Level 4, proprioception and balance. Every repetition challenges your balance under load. Not on flat ground, where you already feel safe, but in the exact transition from sitting to standing where most falls in older adults occur. Set up. Use a sturdy chair against a wall, no wheels, no cushion. Sit toward the front edge, feet flat on the floor, slightly wider than your hips. Cross your arms loosely over your chest if you can. This stops you from cheating with momentum. Step 1, the rise. Lean your chest slightly forward. Press through your heels. Stand all the way up until your hips are fully open. 1 smooth count of 2 seconds. Step 2, the pause. At the top, squeeze your glutes for 1 breath. Stand tall. This locks in the activation. Step 3, and this is the one nobody mentions, the descent. Lower yourself back down slowly. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Resist gravity the whole way. Do not drop, do not flop. The chair should barely register your weight when you reach it. This 4-second eccentric is where the muscle gets rebuilt. Dosage. Beginner. 5 repetitions 3 times a day. Intermediate. 10 repetitions twice a day. Goal. 15 slow repetitions in a single set, twice daily. If 5 is too many, do 3. If standing is too hard, raise the chair with cushions. If 5 is too easy, hold a book to your chest. Elaine, 76, told me she had not stood from her armchair without using her hands in over 4 years. She had canceled her walking group because catching up at a cafe table felt humiliating. She could not get out of the booth. Her doctor had already referred her for a knee replacement consultation. She started with 3 slow chair stands 3 times a day. Just 9 repetitions. After 2 weeks, her knees stopped clicking when she rose. After 4 weeks, she walked into the kitchen without holding the counter for the first time in years. After 6 weeks, she stood up from her armchair, hands free, and surprised herself so much that she sat down and did it again. Her surgeon postponed the consultation. Robert, 81, a retired postman, told me he stopped fearing the curb at the end of his driveway after 3 weeks. That is the quiet revolution this exercise produces. Not strength exactly. Confidence in your own body. 90 seconds a day. 3 weeks until you feel the difference. The research is settled. The instructions are simple. The first repetition belongs to you. Walking is good. Walking alone after 70 is not enough. This one movement, done slowly, done daily, is what the research, the surgeons, and the bodies of people in their 80s actually agree on. Today. Right now. No equipment, no excuse.